Hello, Form A. I want to show you in this tutorial video how to do your long tie assignment on Tinkercad. This is definitely different than other ones you have done, and so I want to make sure that it's clear what is expected of you. First off, you're going to turn in three things for this assignment. You are going to turn in a sketch of your long tie design. You're going to turn in a screenshot of your half tie even pieces and a screenshot of your half tie odd pieces. That will all make sense in a little bit, but again, you are turning in three different documents for me. A sketch of your long tie design, a screenshot of your half tie even pieces, and a screenshot of your half tie odd pieces. All right. First things first, to do the long tie, you have to sketch it out. If you don't sketch it out, you're going to make mistakes when you get into Tinkercad. And so the first thing is that you're going to want to open up this long tie sketch. And so when you do so, you get this nice picture of the long tie broken up into the 16 different parts. All right. So there's a lot of different parts from this. Print this out. Okay. You need to print this out. You can't just do it digitally. Print it out. All right. Or sketch it on a separate piece of paper if you don't have access to a printer, but you need to have a tie that's got 16 parts on it. All right. I'll pause here, go print it out. All right. You've now printed it out. You now need to draw what you're going to put onto your tie, and it helps to sketch it out. Here is an example of my own drawing. And so first off, I numbered all of my pieces, okay, starting with number 1 here at the top, and then going all the way down to 16 at the bottom. All right, so I first numbered all of my pieces 1 through 16, and then I decided to write St. Albans School on each of the pieces. So I'm going to do a letter per piece, and then here in the bottom triangle, I'm going to put the STA Bulldog. All right, so again, it's just a simple sketch. You can do letters, you can do different designs, whatever you want. You can just put your initials. You don't have to do all 16 pieces. It is really up to you. You do have to put something onto the tie. I've had some students who just put something here in the bottom. That's okay, but you have to put something on the tie, period. Okay, so this is a nice sketch. I have the numbers on the side, and I've chosen to do St. Albans School with the Bulldog on the bottom. All right, that is going to really help me when I get into Tinkercad. All right. Now, I need to download two different sets of pieces for the long tie. There is the odd pieces and there is the even pieces. The odd pieces refer to the pieces in the drawing here of like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. The reason we break up the files is odd and even is that if you want to print this, this allows you to print things in two different colors because it would print all of the odds in one color and then it would print all of the evens in a different color. So we do odds and evens when we go into Tinkercad. So here are all the odd pieces, here are all the even pieces. If you want it all to be the same color, that's fine too, but we still break it up into odds and evens. So I'm going to download my odd pieces. I'm also going to download the even pieces. And now that I've downloaded those, I'm going to Tinkercad. All right, I've signed into Tinkercad. There's my bow tie from last week. And now I'm going to click create new design. And again, I have a blank setup. I'm going to start with my odd pieces. So that's going to help me out to do my odd pieces first. And so I'm going to title this long tie odd and then put my name in it. So again, make sure you are titling before you even get started. Do this, and this is going to be my odd pieces. All right. So then I go to import and I need to find my odd pieces. I'm going to drag them right there. STA half tie odd pieces, and I click on import. Takes a moment for it to load. And so now I've got all of my odd pieces set. This is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15. Okay. To start things off, and this is going to make things a little bit easier, I want to rotate this 90 degrees just so that it's facing me. Okay. And then based on my chart, I've got to look to see what am I putting on these different pieces. And so again, if I go back to my sketch, here I'm putting nothing on number 1. On number 3, I'm putting a T. 5, I'm putting an L. 7, I'm putting an A. 9, I'm putting an S. 11, I'm putting a C. 13, I'm putting an O. And 15, I'm putting an L. So I'm going to have that available for me so I can use it as a reference. So I first need to look at number 3. All right. So I'm going to grab a text down here. Okay. And I need to change that. And for number 3, it is going to be a T, a lowercase t, a period for saint. Okay. And when I get in a little bit closer, you can see that the text is pretty fat, right? Not what we really want. And so instead, I want to reduce this size to a 2. Okay. I just want it to be too thick. All right. So that way it doesn't carve all the way into it. You may also notice right at this point, you see these little triangles. That's to feed the string through the tie pieces to make it all connect together. And we don't want to mess up. We don't want to imprint into those. So making this a thickness of 2 will prevent us from hurting the little slots on the side going forward. Okay. Now, I need to bring this up to the top, and I'm going to do myself a favor, and I'm going to grab the work plane, and I'm going to bring it right on top of my piece number 3. And so that puts everything in a nice place. You may notice that all of them are at that same work plane, except piece number 1. Notice how piece number 1 sticks up a little bit. The reason that number 1 sticks up a little bit is on the back side is that connector to connect to your top button. So that's why it's a little bit above. So if you're going to use number 1, you have to put something on number 1. You'd want to put the work plane on top of number 1 when you go to do that. But we're going to be putting them on number 3. So I'm going to bring it right there. And so now my work plane is on there. I'm going to bring my T on over here, and I got to raise it on up. So I'm right now right on top of it. I'm going to use the arrow keys just to kind of move it on over. And I want to make sure that this is as centered as possible. Okay, oops. Come on. So I might want to lower that just a little bit, move it a little bit to the left. And so there I've got a nice T with a period indicated on it, maybe just one over. Okay. Now, right now, it's sticking out. And that's okay. If you want your thing to stick out of the tie, then leave it as is, because it's a solid idea and goes from there. But if you want it to sink in, then you need to do 2 things. 1, you need to make it a hole. And 2, you need to bring it down into it. And so I'm going to grab the little triangle there. I'm going to drop it down 2 slots. So now it's sitting inside of the tie piece. Okay. So I've got it nicely set into place. Right. Now, we're going to make our lives a whole lot easier at this point. We've got our T where we want it. And so I'm going to make a copy of it, and I'm going to paste it. And so now I've got another letter, and I'm just going to bring it on down. It's already carved down into it. It's already a hole. I don't have to worry about any of those things. And so now all I need to do is change it. And for number 5, if we go back and look at this, number 5 has to be an L. Okay, so that's the L piece. So in this case, I'm going to instead of it being a T, I'm going to make it an L. All right. And I'm going to make that a little more centered there. So again, I'm clicking on my L piece. I just want to make sure it's nicely centered. Okay. So that's an L. There will be an A piece, but that's for my evens in between it. And let's bring it just a little. Down. There we go. All right, I'm going to copy that and paste it. I'm going to bring it over to my thing right there, and then I'm just going to start dragging it on down. And so what this allows me to do is get it right in place. And again, my 7 is an A. So there I've got those 3 pieces already into place. All right. Now I'm going to copy, paste my A, and I got to bring it on over to here. Again, I'm just using the arrow keys to make sure things, kind of stay aligned as best as possible. I'm going to say that's about centered there. All right. And my number 15 is actually an L. So we're going to make that an L. Okay. I got that as an L. I'm going to copy and paste, bring it over so it's lined up with my other L, but now I'm going to bring it on up. And this piece is number 13. Again, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. And again, based on my picture, 13 is an O. So I change that to an O. And now I'm going to copy and paste it. Oops. I want to do that. Copy and paste. Bring it over so it lines up again. And I just slowly move it up here. And my number 11 happens to be a C. And so I've got that all set. I'm going to copy and paste, bring it on over. Bring it up here. And my number 9 happens to be an S. Change that to an S. That's the S in St. Albans. Okay. So I've got everything all set. I'm not putting anything in piece number 1. I have a number 7, or number 1 is a T. Number 3 is a T. Number 5 is an L. Number 7 is an A. Number 9 is an S. Number 11 is a C. Number 13 is an O. And number 15 is an L. The last thing that I want to do here is I'm going to grab everything, select it all, and I'm going to group it. And so those things that I made holes, now they did a nice job. And I'm going to put the work plane back on the bottom. So now you can see they did a nice job carving into it. And it's not too deep, but it does a nice job, being 2 down, it does a nice job carving in for my evens. I'm going to take a screenshot of this to then put into my thing. I'm on a Mac, so I do Command-Shift-4, but whatever computer you are on. So I've got my screenshot of that, and I'll turn that part in onto Google Classroom. All right. Now I've done the odds. I got to do the evens. So there's my long tie. I'm going to create a new design. Essentially, I'm going to do the same thing again. I need to change this to be long tie even. And again, my first initial, last name. I'm going to import my even numbers. Yep, STA half tie even pieces. So I import. And again, there's my evens. I'm going to know that's even because I got the bottom tie piece. And I'm going to rotate this around just so it's facing me. Makes my life a little bit easier going forward. So each of these pieces, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. I'm going to start all over again. And I grab my text. And again, might be easier this time. Actually, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to make my life a little easier. I'm going to bring the work plane right on top of where I want. So then when I bring my text, it sits on top of there, which is kind of nice. And for me, my number 2 is a capital S. I'm going to give a capital S for St. Albans. And I need to look at it from the side. It's pretty fat, right? So we need to make sure that that is just too deep. Okay. And it's definitely not centered. So I'm going to play around with centering it a little bit. And again, I'm just using the arrow keys to do this to make it nice. So we've got those right there. And again, I want to have this stick in. Okay. If you don't want it to stick in, you want it to stick out, then just leave as is. But if you want it to carve in, make the S a hole, and then you grab the little triangle. Oops. Grab this little black triangle, and I'm going to drop it down into it. Okay, so now it's all the way in like I want it to be. And now I do the same thing as I did before, where I have my S. I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it, bring it over here to the center, and then drop it on down. And so I need a capital A for Albans on this one. I'm going to change that to a capital A. Paste. Oops. Why it does that? Capital A on over. I'm moving it down, and I'm going to make this a B. Paste over. Again, I'm using the arrow keys. Makes my life a whole lot easier. And it's already pushed down into where I need it to be. Bring that up a little bit. And for this one, N is I can always double check, but I got N is number 8. So I got to have it as an N there. Back to Tinkercad. So instead of it being a B, I'm going to make it an N. That is nice. And here, I'm going to grab that and paste it. I'm just going to slide it on over. And center it like I want to. And let's see, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 is an H for me. Paste. Try it does that. There we go. And bring it up here to piece number 10. Piece number 10 for me is a capital S for school. Nice. Paste it. Bring it all the way down to number 14, piece number 14 in this case. That's going to be an O. Yep. So I've got my St. Albans school part, and now I want to put my bulldog here. All right. So before I do anything else, I'm going to make sure that I capture all this stuff and group it so those things are carved in like they're supposed to, so I don't lose anything like that. So that all looks really, really nice and carved in the same distance. Now I want to include the bulldog. So in last time we used Convertio, we're going to use the same thing again. I need to find that STA logo. So I'm just going to search for STA logo. And there it comes up, STA logo, St. Albans School. And I search down there. Oh, there's the bulldog. It doesn't really matter either color, but I'm just going to grab the JPEG here. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to save the image as black bulldog. I'll put it in my downloads. So it is there. Now I've got my bulldog, which is great. When I'm here in Google Classroom, I can go to Convertio and I need to choose my file. And there's my black bulldog in my downloads. And I want to convert it to an SVG file. SVG. Okay. Hit convert. All right. So it has finally converted. And now we can click on the download to download the SVG file. And so then I go back into Tinkercad and I need to import that SVG file of the bulldog. Now it says that it's too big, so I'm just going to make it a width of 100. Still probably going to make it a little big, but it works itself out. Again, depending on how complex your design is, could take a while for it to load. And there is my beautiful bulldog. Now you can see it's pretty thick, right? So we first need to change it so that it is too thick. Oops, wrong. There we go. I'm on the bulldog there. It comes in at 10. I need to change it down to 2. And I'm going to rise it on up and move it on over here. So again, I want it to be stuck inside, and it's a little big on the big side. So first off, I'm going to hold shift to keep my aspect ratio good, and still need to make it a little bit smaller. Just a little bit smaller. There we go. So again, there's the STA Bulldog. And right now he's sticking up, and so I want to move him on. I think I made it too thick. Let's see. Oh, 0.72. No, that's not good. 2. And so I'm going to put him down into it. 1, 2. Make sure he's a whole. So then when I go to group it all, it's a nice carved in bulldog right there. Looking really sharp and well done. Okay. So I'm going to move my work plane underneath it all. And so there is my evens numbers: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. And again, I'm going to take a screenshot of this so that I can then turn it in onto Google Classroom. And again, you need to turn in your long tie design, okay, on your sketch. You need to then turn in your screenshot of the even pieces and a screenshot of the odd pieces. Thank you.